The Dane and Derek Show is an uncensored, unfiltered podcast. Content warnings can be found in the episode description. Hello, and welcome to the first episode of The Dane and Derek Show, a podcast where two nerdy friends attempt to keep in touch and shoot the shit. I'm Benig-Aiello, a writer, director, and occasional D&D player, and with me, as always, is my buddy, Dane Fogdahl.
Hey, I'm Dane Fogdahl. I'm a writer, I'm a musician, podcaster, and I am a lover of tabletop RPGs.
And if you've discovered the two of us in this microscopic corner of the internet that is less of a corner and more of a void, that means you probably care somewhat about what this show is. So, Dane, what the heck do you think this show is?
If you ask me, this is a show where you and I kind of just catch up. Basically, we are just having a phone call and you get to listen. Derek and I have been making art and doing nerdy shit for a collective of 5 decades closing.
Not 5 decades. We're
In a couple
decade.
months, we're both going to be 25, and then it's going to be 5 decades. We will each be a quarter of a century old, Derek.
Oh yeah, I guess I get. Oh yeah. If you add us collectively
yep.
together, then yes.
Yep.
5 decades. Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
I got
okay.
there. I got you.
Wow. I am such a brick. But yeah, I think that's a fair assumption of us talking about art, catching up about life, checking in on what nerdy stuff we're watching or playing or consuming. Most likely tabletop RPGs, because that's a huge part of our friendship and creative process.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for you, because you run a great podcasting show about tabletop RPGs.
Yeah, I run an actual play show, which is kind of in the vein of Critical Role or The Adventure Zone or Friends at the Table.
How do we know each other again?
How do we know each other? Okay, in short, we've known each other well over a decade, which for people our age, and if you're doing math at home, is kind of a long time. We went to high school together. We played tabletop RPGs, D&D together. We were in jazz band together. Derek and I both play, or I guess more accurately, played the saxophone.
Correct.
And we kind of just fell into a friendship that was also sort of a partnership in making creative work. And in some ways that's changed and evolved over the years, and in some ways it just really hasn't.
Yep. It's one of those things where, despite that we're not on set together every day of our weekends like we used to, coming and doing this call once a week to catch up definitely makes it doesn't feel quite like that, but it still has the same honesty that came from making those movies and the all the music and all the D&D that we did together. So we're sharing that slice with the internet.
I think people might be able to guess what they can expect from this show, but do you want to give them the rundown about the topics, the whole 9 yards?
Yeah, so every week Dane and I will be talking about 2 different topics loosely related. Sometimes it'll be Dungeons and Dragons, other times it'll be movies. More often than not, it'll be Star Wars and or Hayao Miyazaki.
Or Lord of the Rings.
Or Lord of the Rings.
No, it's I think what people can expect is for us to loosely talk around about our like feelings and philosophies around creating kind of, generally speaking, pretty nerdy art in the vein of the nerdy art that we enjoyed as kids. Basically, like Derek and I both adore Star Wars, and it's made a huge difference in our life, so we talk about it a lot. And you can basically always expect us to mention Dungeons and Dragons once an episode. It's inevitable, inescapable. It's like the black hole at the center of our universe. It's just where we're all headed. So if that's not something you want, sorry, but if it is something you want, hang around. We always get there.
Yep, we always get there, and honestly, it's always a very. I learn something new about the game and about art every time I talk to you. It's probably one of the reasons why I still I mean, not the only reason, but certainly one of the reasons why I still like to collaborate with you. I mean, other than that, you're just a nice guy. There are very
Oh,
few nice guys in
thanks.
this world, and you're one of them.
Aw,
So,
I'm blushing over here.
oh, yeah. I mean, you can also expect a lot of good vibes.
That's the goal, anyways.
Yeah,
That's the goal.
we're here to make your morning, a little bit less dark and gloomy, and not even we're not even necessarily here for you. We're here for each other, but in a way, we're here for you.
Yes, we are trying to bring rays of sunshine into each other's lives, and by extension, into yours.
Exactly. That is a wonderfully put way to say that.
This isn't even a full episode, so do you want to let him get onto it?
Yeah. So next week, tune back in for our first real long episode. We'll be talking all sorts of fun stuff. If you are on the internet and you want to follow us, you can see what movies I'm watching on Letterboxd at Derek-Aiello. That's DEREKAIELLO on Letterboxd, and conveniently at Derek-Aiello everywhere else. And Dane, where can people find your work and request us to talk about things?
You can find me on Twitter at Dane_Fogdall. That's DANE_FOGDALL. And you can listen to my show Diceology. That's DICEOLOGY, like the science of dice, on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify. And it's an improvised actual play show where we play role-playing games to tell stories. Like I think I said, it's like Critical Role, but a little more intimate, I would say.
It's really good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So, well, I guess you'll hear us next week, and probably pretty frequently after that.
That's the hope, anyways.
That's the hope, yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out with us briefly, and we'll see you next week.
Catch you later.